Baseball has no shortage of history.
Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. It is gone! What a marvelous moment for baseball. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world.
Nearly 7 decades of games make for a long walk down memory lane.
Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. A perfect game.
Listen carefully, and one can hear the echoes of some unbelievable moments.
If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
Pieces of our past time that are recalled and recounted thanks in part to the words of a man who was so often there.
Hodges scores, we go to Chicago. The crowd going wild as the fairy tale has come true.
As the calendar turns to autumn, these moments and memories become all the more resonant.
Celebrate on schedule.
But you must reach your peak in October.
Got it. Don Larson, a perfect game in a World Series.
If you want to raise amber brows above eyes that have seen it all.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner.
Who will deliver the next unforgettable performance? Who will be at the center of the story told and retold for generations to come? Dates with destiny aren't written in advance. The drama is unscripted, but they are out there. The next I remember when moment will come.
They always do.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone. In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
Well, even Vin Scully never called the Cubs in a World Series. The last time that happened was 1945. The last time they won it, as even casual baseball fans know, 1908, as another capacity crowd files in, many of them hoping, some of them praying, that this is finally the year. They had the best record in baseball with 103 wins. They got off to a good start in October by winning Game 1 last night against the Giants, 1-0, as we welcome you back to this telecast on MLB Network, presented by Geico, with John Smoltz and Ken Rosenthal. I'm Bob Costas. Well, John, it's a good feeling to be up 1-0, to be at home, and to have the ERA leader, Kyle Hendricks, on the mound tonight if you're Joe Madden.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen him pitch, StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services, is going to give you an inside look of what Kyle Hendricks possesses. And what he does is he commands a sinker on both sides of the plate. It looks like a ball. It comes back over the plate. He ties up hitters with the best of them. This changeup is so deadly because it starts off the fastball and disappears. He's going to throw in a curveball that he can throw for a strike at any time. Maybe not the greatest pitch, but it's a pitch they have to look for. And I think for Kyle Hendricks, the one thing that you know is he does not hit the ball. The hitters do not hit the ball that firmly. His exit velocity is one of the best in the game. His sinker just does not allow the hitter to barrel the ball up. They get weak grounders, this great defense of the Cubs. He plays right into it. Watch this changeup. Starts up, finishes down. If he's going to be successful tonight, it's going to be the same theme. Fastballs down, changeups mess the timing of the hitter. Kyle Hendricks, don't look at the miles per hour to see success. Look at the movement and the lack of power coming off the bat.
His opponent tonight, the former Cub, Jeff Samardzija, a career sub-500 pitcher, 12-11 this year, but during the last month of the regular season, his breaking stuff was more effective, which sets up the fastball better.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a power guy at 95, 96, but if he doesn't get his breaking ball or touch pitches over, these Cub hitters, which beat a lot of people this year, are going to have their way with him. So for Jeff Samardzija, that curveball second time through the lineup is going to be huge.
So the table has been set. When we come back, we'll run down the lineups and we'll have the first pitch, Game 2 from Wrigley Field on deck.
King me.
This must be how Odell Beckham feels when he scores a game-winning touchdown.
Beckham scores! Giants touchdown!
This must be how Rico felt when he triple jumped Mr. Sanchez.
Pepsi.
With the blast motion sensor, I feel like that's the quickest way you can get information. That's the quickest way you can make adjustments. If the technology is there to help you, we gotta take it.
Back at the Ownership Classic, this is a crucial moment. He's really in the weeds with his broker's recommendations. What are they based on? How much do they truly cost?
Oh, would you look at that? He's calling his broker, Bob.
Hello, Peter.
Talk about ownership. This man has the heart of a lion, and the crowd responds.
Are you asking enough questions about the way your wealth is managed? Wealth Management at Charles Schwab.
Can you spot the Lee man?
Coffee, anyone?
He works hard until he says,
"That's enough. Time to have fun."
And then he crushes having fun so freaking hard. His Lees aren't just jeans to him. They're freedom pants. Every little fiber just cheering him on like, "Go kill it, Eric. You're the guy." And he likes that. That's why he married a Lee woman. Move your Lee.
Here is the lineup for the San Francisco Giants that Kyle Hendricks will face tonight. It's sponsored by Geico. More than 100 players of the major leagues hit 20 or more home runs this season. None of them was a member of the San Francisco Giants. Brandon Belt led them with 17. Now, of course, they won the World Series in 2010, 12, and 14 without a 30 home run man. But this year, they didn't have anyone hit more than 17, and they have had trouble scoring, especially of late. Hendricks, 16 and 8, more importantly, led the majors in ERA at 2.13. This is his third year in the big leagues, all of them with the Cubs. Promising start in 2014 at 7 and 2, ERA of 2.5. Last year regressed a bit to 8 and 7, ERA about 4. But this year it's all come together. And John, you were among the first people to mention the comparison between him and Greg Maddux. Of course, Maddux did it for a sustained period of time, and that's why he's in the Hall of Fame. But this year, at least, Hendricks has conjured up memories of Maddux.
Absolutely. The movement on his sinker, he's got a four-seamer as well, but the changeup, the sinker-changeup combination and the curveball are similar to Maddux. Maddux learned how to pitch in this very ballpark, learned how to cut it, sink it, change speeds, and he had tremendous success, as we all know, on his way to a Hall of Fame career.
The center fielder Denard Span stands in, hit 266 for the year. Ball one. The plate umpire is Alan Porter. Larry Vanover at first. Marvin Hudson at second. The crew chief John Hirschbeck is at third. Six-man crew in the postseason. Todd Tichenor right field line. Mike Paczynski left field line.
So here's the dilemma the Giants have. You want to be aggressive because Kyle Hendricks throws a lot of strikes. But the problem with being aggressive on a sinker is there could be a lot of quick outs. You still have to pick one out that you like. But I look for the Giants to be aggressive as much as they can early off of that two-seam fastball.
2 balls and a strike. A real Jekyll and Hyde act this season for the Giants. They had the best record in the game at the All-Star break, even better than the Cubs, and led the Dodgers by 8.5 in July. Then they were 12 games under 500, staggered toward the finish line in the second half. This one is slashed down the left field line, and it will drop foul in the bullpen area. But they managed to sweep the Dodgers in San Francisco in the last series of the regular season, eked out the second wild card spot, and had that guy ready to go against Noah Syndergaard for Bruce Bochy in the wild card game. And here they are once again. And those who believe in omens know that this is an even year. 2010, 12, 14, here they are in October of 2016. The 2-2 pitch. Hit hard down the right field line and foul. There is a bit of a breeze tonight, but nothing like what we saw last night.
Yeah, it's an opposite wind, and certainly pitchers know firsthand when they step out here, watch BP, it affects how you're going to attack the hitters. You certainly could change your whole game plan based on the wind, and that wind is from right to left. Last night it was from left to right.
Span at the plate. Belt and Posey to follow in the top of the first. And a pop into shallow left. In comes Zobrist to take it.
Well, the keys to the game, I think, without stating obvious with Mr. Hendricks here, down in the zone. There's nobody better at getting weak contact than down in the zone. Now, the miles per hour, the reason that's a big thing is because this kind of game can have a jolt of adrenaline. He does not need to throw the ball over 90 miles an hour. So to keep those miles per hour back to normal, and then 1.32 at home, that is a ridiculous statistic. He is so comfortable here at home, as are the Cubs pitchers. If he does all three of those things, it's going to lead to a Cup victory.
Talked to Joe Madden before the game. Obviously, he could have gone with the reigning Cy Young Award winner, Jake Arrieta, in Game 2. Felt more comfortable with Hendricks at Wrigley Field, given his tremendous success here this season, and Arrieta, the veteran, on the road against Bumgarner in Game 3.
Well, it's a lot of choices that weren't going to be too many wrong answers when you've got this kind of pitching staff.
Here's Baez whirling, and from the outfield grass, throwing Belt out. It was Bryant, actually, they had the shift on, and Bryant, who has played all over the field this year. Take a look at the defense, but it doesn't always hold. He wasn't anywhere near third base. With the shift on, he made the play in shallow right. It scored 5-3, even though it didn't look that way.
Well, you see Zobrist is in left field. He can play a couple positions. Baez at second, the Gold Glover, Hayward in right, Fowler, Bryant, Russell, and then Anthony Rizzo rounds it out with Contreras behind the plate. One of the best defenses in all of baseball, something historically. It goes hand in hand with their pitchers to be able to hit their spots, deliver weak contact, athletic defense. They don't have to shift much. You saw the shift there, and it worked out with Bryant being in the second base slot.
Ball and a strike to Posey, who was putting together a Hall of Fame resume. Rookie of the Year, MVP, batting title, 3 World Series rings. At age 29, he caught 122 games this year, the highest total of his career. Bouncing ball, and this is Baez at second base, and the Giants go in order.
Alexa, ask Uber for a ride.
Okay.
Alexa, pause. Alexa, resume.
Alexa, ask 1-800-Flowers to order Tina roses.
Okay.
When Wendy's remodeled their grilled chicken sandwich, marinating the chicken led to overhauling the bun with 7 grains, and so on and so on. Because Wendy's wouldn't stop improving until the new grilled chicken sandwich was deliciously different. And for a limited time, get the combo for just $5.
If Buster Posey wanted to save money...
Hey, Lenny.
Hey, Buster.
Got my toothbrush.
He wouldn't live out of his locker.
What are you doing?
Doing my socks.
He'd save money with Esurance. Because Buster's a smart person, and smart people get Esurance. Official sponsor of Major League Baseball.
I'm Jamie Foxx for Verizon.
In the nation's largest independent study by Root Metrics, again, Verizon is the #1 network.
Hi, I'm Jamie Foxx for Sprint. And I'm Jamie Foxx for T-Mobile. And we're just as good.
Really? Only Verizon was ranked #1 nationally in data, reliability, text and call and speed. Yeah. And you're gonna fist pump to that? Get out of my sight.
Don't get fooled by a cut-rate network. Verizon gives you tons of data without all the restrictions. Get 20 gigs and 4 lines for only $160 with no surprise overages on America's best network.
Wow, diving stop by Lindor. The rookie delivers in the clutch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Shutout for Corey Kluber. The Indians, American League Central Division champs. Wow, what a finish.
Seems like much of the country is Wrigleyville these days, the Cubs being the sentimental favorites as they are. Here's the Geico starting lineup for them. You don't win 103 games accidentally. They had the best defense in the league, the deepest pitching staff. Only the Red Sox and Rockies scored more runs, and the Red Sox with that terrific lineup of theirs. After all, play at Fenway Park in a DH league, and all offensive numbers are distorted somewhat at Coors Field in Colorado. So in every category, the Cubs are right up there.
Well, for Samardzija, Bob, this has been an interesting year. They signed him, and Cueto gave depth to that rotation. The numbers are much better the last 5 to 6 games for the Giants.
0-2 to the switch hitting center fielder Dexter Fowler. Cubs don't run all that much, but he stole 13, hitting at the top of their order. Down and in, 1-2.
What he does when he gets on base, the Cubs roll, and that's why his such an important leadoff spot for the Cubs when you have the likes of Bryant and Rizzo and Zobrist behind him. See this pitch on the outside, fastball, looking to catch the corner. Posey did not move his glove, so that tells me he was set up just a little bit off the edge of the plate.
And the 2-2 pitch is fouled back.
You know, earlier this year, Fowler had a 12-pitch at bat to lead off the game, in which Samardzija threw 45+ pitches in the first inning. There's a lot of foul balls that Samardzija gives up. The key is putting some of those in play. Because of his fastball cutter combination, the hitters foul off a lot of his pitches.
Full count with their win last night. The Cubs have taken 5 out of 8 this year against the Giants. Hendricks and Samardzija tonight after an off day. Monday in San Francisco, Arrieta and Bumgarner. Samardzija was 7-2 through his first 10 starts, and his ERA was 2.5. Since then, 5-9, ERA 4.5. One thing that has always been true of him, he takes the ball. He's among the major league leaders over the last several years in games started, and he'll eat up some innings for you. In the postseason, against the quality of pitching that the Giants will face in this series against the Cubs, simply eating up innings might not be enough.
See the numbers there, last 10 much better. This is turning into that same type at bat. 8 pitches in. The difference is a starting pitcher wants to go through the lineup if he can, attacking with the fastball early. You really don't want to bring in your curveball too early if you don't have to, but in the postseason you throw that out the window. You create that change of speeds when you need it.
Again on 3-2. And here's a drive to right. It sends Pence back, and it's off the ivy. Fowler on his way to second, and he'll stop there with a leadoff double.
From 0-2 to 3-2 and everything pretty much firm. he's able to square him up into the wind off the ivy and lead this game off with a double. Similar to the game earlier here, where he made Samardzija work really hard as the leadoff hitter of the game.
And now here's Chris Bryant. Despite a weak September, hit just .216 in his last 22 games, he's still probably the favorite to pick up the MVP award. Ball one. If he does that, he'll become the 4th man in Major League history to win the Rookie of the Year and then the MVP the first 2 seasons. Cal Ripken, Ryan Howard, and Dustin Pedroia have done it previously. Chance of MVP around Wrigley Field. That one came in at 96, and Bryant couldn't catch up with it.
Well, and much like some of these Cubs from year to year, they've cut down on their strikeouts as well. That's been a big improvement of why they've been so good and why they have a better chance to go deeper into the postseason this year, because they have cut down on their league-leading last year strikeout total.
Rolled toward third. Here's Gillespie. Across the diamond, he gets Bryant.
Well, for Samardzija, here's some of the keys that I think for him to pitch in this game and be effective. One of the things he's going to have to do is not let the MVPs beat him. That's Bryant and Rizzo. There's going to come a point in the game where you've got to pitch around them and let the other guys beat you. And then we talked about it in the open. The curveball has to be part of it. He usually brings it back in the second time through the lineup. He may have to go to it earlier and then give me 6 innings, turn it over to the pen. Those are the keys for Samardzija, who does compete and throws that fastball at a higher rate this year than he has at any point in his career.
So Fowler remains at second, now with 1 out for Rizzo. Samardzija checks him and comes home. Rizzo hit 32 home runs this year, 3rd consecutive season that he's topped 30.
Of those home runs coming off of right-handed pitching.
Panic, as you see, in shallow right, built very deep at first. Crawford in behind the runner Fowler at second, and Fowl back to the screen.
So now the theme again tonight. Samardzija can get to 2 strikes relatively quick, and then what? Without that splitter's been better lately, and without the curveball, they can sit on firm stuff. So he's gotten to 2 strikes early with Fowler, didn't put him away. Now 2 strikes on Rizzo. See how he and Posey attack the next couple pitches.
Zobrist waiting on deck. Struck him out. So Fowler opens with a double. But then their 2 most dangerous hitters, Bryant and Rizzo, fail to advance him. He's still at second with 2 down for Zobrist.
See, this split finger cuts. This is supposed to go away from Rizzo, but it cuts and goes down and in and actually fools Rizzo more than what the ball and the spin should have done. Sometimes you get away with that. But that's the tension in this type of game. When you're firm with your fastball, firm with your cutter, firm with your slider, firm with that split, you still got to get the correct action. That one worked out even though it didn't intend to go in that spot.
Here's Zobrist in left field tonight. One of several Swiss Army knife type guys that Joe Madden has at his disposal. He, Baez, even Bryant can be moved all around. Zobrist is in the postseason for the 6th time in his now 11-season career.
You know, the new age baseball, Bob, is the reason why Zobrist is batting where he's batting instead of in the perfect spot that would be, if I were facing the Cubs, to have him in the number 2 spot and then Bryant in 3 and Rizzo in 4. It lengthens that lineup. But now with the analytics talking about your best hitter getting more at bats over 162 games, that's why Bryant is moved up into the number 2 spot.
Samardzija checks on Fowler. And Zobrist blows one in the shallow right. It's going to land safely. Here comes Fowler to the plate. They have no play on him. 1-0 Cubs. David Ross leads the cheering section. Didn't hit it hard, but it had a big impact. Early lead for Chicago.
Yeah, there were a few of these hits last time that Samardzija was here. Well-placed hits, but putting the ball in play has these kind of moments versus big-time swings and playing for the home run. The Cubs have done a much better job this year.
Addison Russell didn't hit for much of an average, 238, but drove home 95, the highest RBI total for any Cubs shortstop ever other than Ernie Banks. Zobrist held by Bell.
Well, when Madden put him in this spot, he relished it, and he started driving in a lot of runs. As you see, second shortstop for the Cubs with 90+ RBIs. You mentioned about his average being down, but his ability to hit the long ball and drive in runs has proved to be worthy in the number 5 spot.
Samardzija's 1-1 pitch. A little roller to the right side, and Panic throws Russell out. But the Cubs strike first and lead it 1-0 after 1 in game 2.
Have you ever noticed how some people in life seem to get away with everything? We live our lives from an elevated perspective.
You're late.
Time's a relative concept.
Well, I see you have mastered the laws of gravity.
We are the masters of time and space.
And we all drive Jaguars. Ha, ha, ha.
The all-new Jaguar F-Pace. For great offers, visit your local Jaguar retailer today.
Turn the trips you have to take into one you'll never forget. Expedia Plus Rewards. Earn points on over 1 million hotels, flights, and packages.
I'm a big fan of my Bank of America mobile banking app. I can manage my accounts, deposit checks, get alerts, pay my bills, and more. I'm a big fan of this team, too. In fact, I tried out to be the mascot. Apparently, I'm overqualified. I do not have an overbite.
I absolutely love my New York apartment, but the rent is outrageous. Good thing Geico offers affordable renters insurance. With great coverage, it protects my personal belongings should they get damaged, stolen, or destroyed. Excuse me.
Delivery. Hey, lo mein, Szechuan chicken, chopsticks, soy sauce, and you got some fortune cookies. Have a good one.
These small New York apartments.
Protect your belongings. Let Geico help you with renter's insurance.
This Division Series telecast on MLB Network is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And sponsored in part by Michelin, a better way forward. And by Bank of America. The Majors' ERA leader among starters, Kyle Hendricks, has been staked to a 1-0 lead after 1. As good as he was overall, even better at home, as John Smoltz noted earlier. 9-2 at Wrigley. Home ERA 1.32. And Hunter Pence starts it in the second. A broken bat bloop into shallow right field, and it will drop in front of the charging Hayward, who manages to box it in and keep it in front of him. And Pence stops at first with a leadoff hit.
Well, the Giants could use a bunch of those, and that's what you have to do against Kyle Hendricks. You don't seem to barrel up a lot of pitches because of the movement. You watch this ball come in, you see the bat break. And the guy that's at the plate right now is, I think, the key to the Giants. When he goes, they go. When he doesn't, well, there's a big difference. The games that they win versus the games that they lose. 350 when they win, 182 when they don't. This guy has really emerged as one of the best shortstops in the game, offensively and defensively.
Well, you have two of the best defensive shortstops in the majors at Wrigley Field tonight. Addison Russell of the Cubs and Brandon Crawford of the Giants. You saw some of Crawford's numbers. In addition, he led the National League with 11 triples this year. The advanced metrics say they were pretty much even at the top, and Andrelton Simmons not far behind. Inside 2-1, Hendricks went to Dartmouth, and so naturally enough, his nickname in the clubhouse is the Professor. From the Ivy League to the ivy-covered walls of Wrigley Field, and he's excelled in both venues. Rizzo goes to second, and they got him. On to first, no. Rizzo was close enough to the bag that your first thought was, well, he'll just take that one and then maybe take a shot at second base. But he unloaded for the force play right away.
Well, to do this, you got to be pretty accurate, and he felt that he could make that throw and not in any way hit the runner as he goes to second base. But he keeps the double play in order. A very aggressive play by Rizzo. As you mentioned, he could have just touched the bag, but he knew what he was going to do as soon as the ball was hit.
Of course, if he touches the bag, then it becomes a tag play at second and all the more difficult to execute. So he made the right choice. Here's Pagan. Switch hitter, checks in at 277 for the regular season. Led the team in stolen bases with 15. Began his career as a Cub in 06 and 07. Then 4 years with the Mets, now in his 5th season as a Giant.
So far early on, nothing seems to be creating any tension for Kyle Hendricks. If he misses, he just misses, and he still has the touch on that changeup.
Fouled away. Alan Porter, wait a minute. Might have been interference on the play. That's what's been called. Wilson Contreras, the catcher, made contact with Pagan's bat, and he's awarded first base, which pushes Crawford to second.
Well, you see the late swing and the glove down, trying to entice that pitch to be in that area, and really because of the late swing, Pagan was able to hit the glove, and that will go down as a E2, I believe.
Yep, score at E2, interference play. And a chance for the hero of the wild card game, Connor Gillespie. His 3-run homer off Jurius Familia won it. Ended the Mets season. Sent the Giants on to Wrigley.
Kyle Hendricks was so stingy in these situations throughout the year. That's how you have the best ERA in baseball in the National League. You just don't give up many hits with runners in scoring position, and he didn't do that. Well under 200 on the year, and it doesn't matter if it's a left-hander or a right-hander. His stuff plays on both sides of the plate, and you can already see that going softer is a better recipe for him, where Samardzija tries to go firmer, harder when he gets in those situations.
Hendricks gets ahead of Gillespie 0-2. Through their run of 3 World Championships in a 6-season stretch, the Giants, of course, have had their mainstays, Madison Bumgarner, Buster Posey, the manager, Bruce Bochy, for a while, Pablo Sandoval. But then there have been short-term heroes, the guys like Connor Gillespie, Travis Ishikawa, Marco Scudero. They played important roles. It was Gillespie just a few days ago at Citi Field. Possible double play. There's one. And they turn it. Baez starts it. Russell on the pivot. Rizzo on the receiving end. And they're out of the top of the second.
Modern life deserves a modern way to pay.
Hey, help. Dude.
You can use it online and on your phone.
Master passed it. XXXXL. That's sweet.
Coming in for the save.
Thank you.
Priceless.
Want a napkin?
MasterPass, the secure way to pay from your bank. Don't just buy it, MasterPass it.
Some things are simply impossible to ignore. The strikingly designed Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid, the SUV that dares to go beyond utility. This is the pursuit of perfection.
We're going to prove just how wet and sticky your current gel antiperspirant is. Now, we're going to show you how Degree Dry Spray is different. Degree Dry Spray. Degree. It won't let you down.
Heineken Light makes it okay to flip another man's meat.
No, no, no. You never flip another man's meat.
Award-winning Heineken Light is the best light beer you've ever tasted.
That's true. Can I have one?
Can I flip your meat?
No.
Suit yourself.
We got married in June.
On Tuna Day. There's a Subway 350 sub of the day to help you remember life's important days. Every day a different 6-inch sub for just $3.50 every day of the week at Subway.
Her name is Terry.
She was born on Sweet
Onion Chicken Teriyaki Day.
So here's the deal. Every mechanic knows cars, but a Mopar mechanic knows your car. We know everything there is to know because our training, our tools, our parts, and your vehicle all come from the same place. Now that's a big deal. It means no one is more trusted to get the job done right and done fast. And to make a big deal even better, buy 3 tires and get the 4th for $1. At your Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealership.
You fill up my senses like a sleepy blue ocean. You fill up my senses. Come fill me again.
This Division Series telecast on MLB Network is presented by Geico with Hall of Famer John Smoltz and Ken Rosenthal. Bob Costas at Wrigley in Chicago. Cubs lead the series 1-0 and the game 1-0 as they bat in the bottom half of the second. Jason Hayward to start it. Gold Glove quality outfielder, tremendous base runner, head-scratchingly poor offensive production. A few years ago, he launched 27 homers as a member of the Atlanta Braves, but he's never been able to recapture that power stroke.
No, he's in a mechanical funk, and right now fastballs are not his friend. He does not catch up to anything with velocity, especially up. A lot of pop-ups lately and just not able to connect.
He did here, rifles one down the right field line, fair ball. It ricochets back to Pence. Hayward on his way to second, didn't need to slide, he's in there. Well, there was a glimmer of hope as he hit a bit over 300 in the last 14 games of the regular season. And here is a dart off his bat in his first at-bat here in game 2.
Yeah, it's one of the few times really in the last couple months where he's been able to get on top and really look like the bat speed and the hands and everything were in right position. This is the part of the lineup right here for the Cubs that if they get anything out of, it's going to be a long, long scenario for a lot of starting pitchers and relievers. But this is where you go to get out of trouble. Now, this young kid, Baez, has made so many adjustments, not to mention the home run he hit last night. Fan favorite #1.
Huge ovation for him. Drove one out into the teeth of the wind in the bottom of the 8th last night of Johnny Cueto. Ball 1 to Baez, but he's not up there to walk. In 421 at-bats, and just a handful of plate appearances beyond that, 15 walks. You got to try to walk him.
I was impressed just hearing about his thinking on that approach last night. He knew there would be 2 pinch hitters behind him for Ross and Lester, and he was finding a way. He just said, I want to find a way to get on base. I was thinking about bunting. And then I got the 3-2, of course, and he connected for that mammoth home run that barely went out.
The 2-0. Vicious cut and a miss. Might have popped a button on his jersey on that one. Deep sigh from Buster Posey. And the signs for Samardzija. 3-1. Well, I said it was difficult to walk him. Now he's sitting on a 3-1 pitch with Hayward at second and nobody out.
Those numbers aren't too shabby, by the way. And again, you're talking about a guy that struck out at a historic rate when he broke in and now really cut down on that. We didn't see that on the 2-0 swing. Huge swing.
Well, Samardzija managed to walk him. The pitching coach, Dave Righetti, wearing a glum expression. Terrific starter and reliever at various times during his career with the Yankees. Not quite the Hall of Famer that you were, but the same route. Began as a starter, then became a quality reliever.
Well, he's been an unbelievable pitching coach, and the success they've had out of their starters and the relievers. I just don't know how his stomach can take these type of games year in and year out.
Here's Wilson Contreras. He's been mentored by David Ross, who at age 39 is playing in his final big league season, and fellow Venezuelan Miguel Montero as well. The 0-1. Into right field. Pence can't get it. Runners had to play it safe. The bases will be loaded with nobody out.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hayward got a bad read on that from second base where Baez could see it standing at first base right away. His read was much better. Hayward didn't want to take a chance, and he was out all the way back at second base as Baez was coming towards him. Watch this right here. He did not see the same read. He's going back thinking he might get it. And that's just what the different views will do for you when you're on the bases. Not every view is going to be the same. can see Jason Hayward explaining what he saw versus what Baez was able to see. Nonetheless, Hendricks up with the bases loaded.
So Hendricks with a chance to help himself. He's not much of a hitter. Batted .138 without an extra base hit.
And for the Giants, that's the best obvious scenario that could have happened, because now you can wiggle out of this with only 1 run. To think you can get out of this with no runs would be really aggressive thinking on part of Samardzija. But you've got the pitcher at the plate, and by all accounts, you can get him to hit the ball on the ground or strike him out.
The infield, as you see, is back, except for Belt, who's in close on the grass at first. Gillespie about even with the bag at third. In the middle of the diamond, they're back. And Hendricks breaks his bat, but flares it into center. It drops for a hit, and 2-run score. Baez didn't hesitate. And the Cubs grab a 3-0 lead.
Just before that pitch, they were trying to get the outfielders to move in, and Baez has incredible baseball instincts. He saw where Span was playing. He did not hesitate at all. The only way you can score, watch this read. He's gone. As Hayward goes to tag up, that's the only thing that slows down Baez. This young man, you can see why they're so high on him. And for Hendricks, wow, what a job at the plate, just putting the ball in play. Didn't hit it great, but hit it good enough.
And already George Contos is warming up in the San Francisco bullpen. A bullet foul from Fowler.
Well, and Samardzija has yet to throw a curveball. He has stayed with his game plan. It has not worked at this point. He's got to have something to get the hitters off of the firmness of his fastball, slider, cutter, and split.
Fowler double to right center to begin the first inning for the Cubs. Pokes a bunt foul.
And there it was. There was the first breaking ball that he's thrown.
Two runs home, 2 men on, still nobody out. Contreras at second, Hendricks at first. Fowler gets under one, lifts it to medium right. Contreras tagging, Hence with the catch. Contreras heads for third, and he'll make it. So runners at the corners with one out for Bryant.
Fowler just missed connecting on that one. A pitch over the middle of the plate.
Samardzija with a heck of a task in front of him. Bryant at the plate, Rizzo on deck, and there's strike one.
Of course, the way they play defense against Bryant, there's not really anybody in the second base spot wide open. They play him more up the middle.
They'll concede another run if they can't turn two on a ball hit on the ground. Slice to right, Pence in pursuit. It's off his glove. He nearly had it. Another run home. And it's 4-0 Chicago. The Cubs taking a huge bite out of the shark in the first inning plus.
Yeah, there's not a lot of fooled swings right now, and that's what happens when you can keyhole velocity. Pence normally makes this play. Great effort. Come a long way and see it just off the webbing.
Contreras scored. Hendricks stopped at second. Rizzo to the plate. A deafening roar at Wrigley Field. Rizzo struck out his first time. One and one.
Rizzo thinks this is outside the strike zone, but even though it showed it, the umpire gave the benefit of the doubt.
Rizzo skies one to left. Pagan into foul ground in the bullpen area for the catch. So now Samardzija, if nothing else, trying to at least get through this inning without further damage and maybe tack on a few more innings before Bochy and Righetti have to go to their bullpen.
Yeah, you wonder, and I think he's one hitter away from being out. I mean, the last thing that Bruce Bochy wants to do is lose that number 2 spot, which is where he is in the batting order. He could pinch hit if he can get through this inning. Otherwise, I don't think he's going to double switch. There's no reason to double switch this early, but with Samardzija due up second in the 3rd inning, if he thinks his chances are better with Contos or a reliever, then he could pinch hit and get a clean possible 3 innings out of his reliever. That's it. It stays.
Well, you're already in a 4-0 hole against a guy who has been very stingy, especially here at Wrigley Field. And you don't have a lineup with a lot of power. And of late, you've struggled, generally speaking, to score runs, even though you have faced quality pitching over the last week or so. They had to beat Kershaw in San Francisco, second to last day. They had to beat Syndergaard. Last night, they went down to the wire against Lester. Tonight, it's Hendricks.
Well, it just, to anybody else who's going to face this Cubs lineup, velocity's not going to do it by itself. You've got to be able to change speeds on them. They get locked in on velocity. They're pretty good.
Zobrist had a little flair for an RBI hit back in the 1st. Rips it foul. Zobrist made the All-Star team. Hit nearly .350 through the first 2 months of the season. Under .250 since then. But a high on base percentage with almost 100 walks. And so useful because of his versatility. And a switch hitter to boot. Another hard foul.
asked Joe Madden about the little mechanism of his hands when he's getting ready. He's got that little constant motion. He says, well, you wouldn't teach this, but it works for him. As the pitch gets ready, you can see him starting the engines with his hands right there.
A pop on the infield. Gillespie calls and puts an end to it, but not before. The Cubs score 3 more times. Hendricks helping his own cause with an RBI hit that produced 2. And after 2, they lead it 4-0, looking to take a 2-0 edge in the best-of-5 series.
Today we're going to talk about the all-new 2016 Chevy Cruze, but you're only going to answer me in emojis. So this Cruze has built-in 4G LTE Wi-Fi with 24 gigs of data. It also comes with 24 months of Sirius XM satellite radio.
Like word, Chevy. That's the way to go.
Get this Cruze with 2 years of Sirius XM radio, and now get 0% financing for 72 months, or find your tag and get 20% of MSRP cash back on select remaining 2016 vehicles in stock.
Stop. With that box, you'll be the first to win PlayStation VR. Player 1. Soon, it spreads like wildfire. Humanity becomes so plugged in, we never see them coming. That's why I was sent back to stop you.
Oh, hey, I won.
Right.
The future of gaming starts at Taco Bell. Grab any $5 box and you could be one of the first to win PlayStation VR.
My hygienist said the most random thing. She said I should think of my teeth like an apple. Could be great on the outside, not so great on the inside. Her advice? Use a toothpaste and mouthwash that strengthens both.
Go Pro with Crest Pro Health Advanced. It's uniquely formulated with active strength technology to strengthen teeth inside and is better at strengthening the outside than Colgate Total.
Crest toothpaste and mouthwash makes my whole mouth feel amazing.
Advanced to healthier gums and stronger teeth from day one.
My checkup was great.
Crest, healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
Great, okay. Well, this here's a load-bearing wall. We'll go ahead and rip that out. It's going to cause a lot of problems. Totally unnecessary, and it triples the budget.
We'll be way behind schedule, right?
Schedules. Schedules. Great. Okay.
Wouldn't it be great if everyone said what they meant? The Citi Double Cash Card does. It lets you earn double cash back. 1% when you buy, and 1% as you pay. The Citi Double Cash Card. Double means double.
Nothing worth having comes easy. You have to get up every morning and put in the work.
Give him another.
Time, effort, commitment. These are your tools. You have to understand that there are no shortcuts here. Whether you're playing in the majors or making seriously good bourbon, you know the greatest achievements in life don't just happen. They're earned.
As a proud sponsor of Major League Baseball, Evan Williams is giving you a chance to win an all-expensive paid trip to the World Series. Go to evanwilliams.com/MLB sweeps to learn more. On to the third. And a strike to Joe Panik. He goes the opposite way, and it drops in for an extra base hit. Panik is on his way to second. Zobrist digs it out of the corner. A leadoff double.
Now that's the Joe Panik swing that they've been looking for a while. He's had some injuries, lower back problem, missed some games. But that's the type of swing. He's not having any close to the year that when he broke in and caught everybody by surprise, how cool and calm. This swing right here, if they can get more of that, that helps.
Yeah, he hitches 239, but he gives them a glimmer of hope opening the third inning here with an extra base hit. And you were right. Bochy has seen enough of Samardzija. He's going to go to his bench right now. And it's Gregor Blanco, left-handed hitter.
Yeah, this gives them a chance to be a little bit more creative now in case this inning creates some runs. And who you want to bring in for how long out of the pen, because now it's mix and match the rest of the game for Bruce Bochy in his pen. Well rested.
He swings on the first pitch, shoots one toward left center field, and they can't run it down. This is going to produce the first run for the Giants, and Blanco with a pinch hit double. Back-to-back doubles in the third. And it's 4-1.
Well, Blanco off the bench said, look, I'm not going to wait around and let this guy get me to beat it in the ground. I'm going to take the first swing I can. He comes after you with sinkers. And if you don't try to pull this guy, you've got a chance. You see the pitch. It's not where, of course, Hendricks wanted it height-wise. Blanco took it to the left side of the gap between the two outfielders. And that reason that's huge is now you're looking at 2 runs just without getting a hit if you're the Giants. If you put it in play, move them over, move them in. Now you've cut a deficit down to 2 and hope your bullpen can hold him right there.
And all Samardzija can hope is that his teammates get him off the hook. An unsightly line for him. And 1 to Span, who flied to left to start the game.
See, this in my mind, this is what makes the Giants so good. It's not too early to think I've got to pull the ball and get him to third. Now I'd like to pull the ball and get a hit, but getting him to third is a priority and cutting that deficit down.
Well, this is the postseason, and they are the Giants. Battle tested, resourceful, but for whatever it may be worth, during the regular season with a lead of 4 runs or more, the Cubs were 71-1 with the quality of their starters and the depth of their bullpen. Well, this will get the job done, the job you were talking about. It moves Blanco to third with 1 out.
I just think that's underrated. I think no doubt was Span trying to get a hit, but you got to have a plan and you got to be able to execute and pass it on to the next guy. The Cubs are going to give up this run on a ground ball, no doubt. And so his ability to get him over to third now gives Belt the opportunity to drive him in via a hit or not. Just a ground ball to the right side, and it's all of a sudden 4-2.
Belt grounded out his first time. 3 infielders on the right side.
You mentioned those 4 runs